Greetings, gamers! Welcome to part number 60 of my Let's Play Fire Emblem 10 Radiant Dawn. 60 parts. That's kind of exceptional. Due to the fact that this game is, I believe it has 44 total chapters, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's the longest a Fire Emblem game has ever been. Now, I can't speak to that being a fact, but it is something that is potential. It's very possible that this is the longest a Fire Emblem game has ever been. And if that is the case, it makes perfect sense why I'm reaching 60 parts, and it's going to probably end up being well over 70 parts before I'm finished. Which is both good and bad. Some people would probably hate the fact that it's going to be that many parts. A lot of folks like seeing Let's Plays with much smaller numbers. Being honest with you, I think that's kind of very moot, to say the least, especially if you're wanting to keep your episodes to almost what you would kind of think people would be willing to watch. See, 30 minutes is like the perfect episode length, in my opinion. It is basically what we have been watching our entire lives for as long as TV and other video entertainment has existed. Besides movies, of course, and specials, most TV series are 30 minutes long with, like, between 4 and 6 minutes of commercials. Now, that means that most TV shows are actually not, 30 minutes long, but still, I think it's a reasonable amount of time.
What's happening? Vice Minister Lacane, I lost the battle.
Well, there's a good reason why you lost. Tosser. I am doing literally nothing with that. That's the Legue's gem. Perfect. Short axe. Who has a greater chance of dying here? This is very unfortunate. What's his hit? 139? 104? Not likely he's going to hit. 156. It's possible that he will hit. I'm going to have to heal up one of you guys. I'm supposing that Soth would be the best bet. I guess I can equip the crossbow for the time being, just so I'm doing some semblance of damage to these guys. There's the crossbow there. I think I will sling a hand axe or two at you and let the rest of these units swarm me. I need to finish this chapter pretty soon. Yeah, all in all, even though I said I don't particularly like the fact that this chapter is put on a timer, it's not a big timer, it's not that big of a deal. I just don't like it particularly because it means that your slower units have to be sped up. You have to do, like, rescue drop strats, you have to do all kinds of stuff like that in order to make sure that your units are, getting experience points. It's not really a bad thing. I'm not truly complaining. I just thought that it was something to bring up. It's not the greatest thing to happen in this chapter. Very nice, Nazala. And of course, Shannon is going to continue being attacked by these yahoos. The crossbow is so underwhelming. Even the Aquar that I just had was underwhelming. Now, there is a crossbow that is stronger, but in reality, because you hardly fight any flying units yourself, it's almost truly pointless. Very nice little damage there. I should be able to finish this chapter in the next, turn or two. I want to say. I say that, but Shinon is actually making that a little bit difficult to want to accomplish right now. Moving him down, even though, yes, he needs experience points, was probably not the grandest of ideas, though Har is going to be able to join the fray in just a moment, as long as there aren't any more reinforcements to the rear or very far away from my party right now, because if that is the case, then Har is definitely going to be needed in those sections. Okay, that's pretty reasonably fair. Mend you up. Steel dagger. Alright, beast killer. So I have a lot of beast killers. I never ended up using any of them, and it was just because of the situation and circumstance that I was in, particularly with my units at the time. And what's really kind of sad about that is that there is no other instances in this game where the beast killer is going to be useful for this particular party. And that's just the truth. Very strange that this sniper decided not to attack Har. He should have been able to reach. For certain. And that is the end of my turn. I have just a little bit left to go. Shinon is doing a great job of provoking these guys, but not really a great job of dealing damage to them. Very interesting also, I will say that those bishops had long-range tomes, or in the case of the ones that are right next to the ones that were, because one of them's gone, right next to Naysal and Shinon, only had one long-range staff. Why only one? And why no, like, magic to defend themselves with? Gosh, this game is so strange with its design. Okay. Well, I've got one of you left, so I guess I'll throw you here. And then continue moving about my units. Hopefully I can finish this sooner than later. This chapter has already gone on quite long. Crossbow. I'll just use the silencer here, finish you off. And of course, I'm going to rescue Micaiah out of the way because, you know, Micaiah doesn't need to be out in the front of the battle. It's okay if one guy can attack her, because I wouldn't mind her getting some more weapon rank, as she is still at only B rank in light. Considering that she has discipline on, it just shows that this game is very slow with that. And Shinon continuing to show that he's basically a tank. The man can only die if there's a billion people around him. I do? Yes, they do have a talk conversation. Beast killer. Nice little chunk of experience points. You are gone. And to finish off this chapter, I think I'm going to talk to Sir Knight.
Ah, Sir Knight, I am glad to see you're safe. I know someone of your power wouldn't have turned to stone.
I am glad to see you are safe as well, maiden.
Are you here to save us again?
Not us.
What?
I am only here to save you, no one else.
But why? Why just me?
We will talk more when the battle is over. I shouldn't have said anything yet. Forgive me.
Sir Knight.
That is a very interesting conversation, to say the least. Micaiah doesn't need any experience points, so that's wasted. And to finish off this chapter, a little bit more strike rank for Naysala.
Sir Knight, how good to see you. You always save me from danger.
Maiden, I have a favor to ask of you. Will you come with me? My master awaits you at the Tower of Guidance.
The Tower of Guidance, if I may ask. Who is your master?
You will see when we get there. Please take my hand. We will be there in the blink of an eye.
I can't. I can't leave everyone behind. We have to get to the tower together.
Your allies will turn to stone when the light of judgment next shines. I do not wish for you to see it.
The light will strike again? When? Please tell me.
Maiden, I will come for you again. Make up your mind by then.
Wait.
Don't tell me. He's gone again, right? I knew we couldn't count on him.
Soth?
Lucane got away, didn't he?
Yes, he did. But we'll have another chance.
I'm sure of it. I know he's going to attack us again. Don't know if that's good news or bad.
I know. We have to be ready.
His master awaits. Who could his master be?
Sigrun, Tanith, I need to talk to both of you.
Empress?
Why so serious? Whatever it is, you can be sure that Sigrun and I will help you with it. Tanith, let her speak. When the last apostle was assassinated and I was not yet born, Begnion went a long time without central authority. The people were frightened, both of the murder and the power vacuum. Without the goddess's voice, Begnion was lost. Sephiran once told me that when the Senate confirmed my appointment as the next apostle, it was as if a sigh of relief sounded across the country. It's true. I still remember your coronation the first time I ever saw you, Empress Sanaki. With your tiny hand in Sephiran's, you stumbled as you walked. A little girl barely visible in the grand hallway of the cathedral. It was a moving sight. I remember as well. The Empress stepped on her cape and tripped a total of 5 times. Tanith, that hardly seems appropriate. I think the country's sigh of relief was unwarranted. I cannot hear the goddess's voice, I never could. This has perplexed me for years. At first I thought my youth was to blame, but this excuse grows thinner each year. There is no clear age at which previous apostles heard the goddess for the first time, but all of them had heard it by now. Empress, if this is about what Duke Gatto said, if I am not the true apostle, have I betrayed my people, even unknowingly? You two are my most trusted friends. How would you feel about me if I were not the apostle? Be honest with me. You would like an honest answer? Very well. It would change nothing. What? If you thought that our allegiance was to the office of the apostle, well, you were wrong. Even from a young age, you have been working with Lord Sephiran to fight the Senate on behalf of the people. Our loyalty lies with you, Empress Sanaki. You will always be our Empress. Please do not forget that. I am blessed. Not by the voice of the goddess, but by loyalty like yours. Be strong, Empress Sanaki. Even if you are not an apostle, you are still the one true Empress of Begnion.
Oh, those plans would be dashed if the truth was made known. And it is time to save.
Prince Kurthnaga tells of the connection between Dayan and the dragon tribes. Ranulf reveals the identity of the Black Knight. These revelations send Ike's mind spinning in a whirlpool of confusion and doubt. Ike becomes convinced that the answers to all of his questions lie within the Tower of Guidance, and he is determined to reach the tower at any cost. His group arrives in the Duchy of Tanis, near the imperial capital. Caught in a sudden downpour, They take shelter in the Duke's deserted villa.
Chapter 4, Revelations. Tanis's Manse, Begnion. Now, I cannot speak this for a fact, but I almost want to say that Duke Tanis, good old Oliver himself, that wretched man, was located a little bit elsewhere on the map of Begnion in the previous game. I think that's a failing on their part, but I cannot be quoted on this matter because I'm not for sure.
This is great. I can't remember the last time we got to sleep indoors. We can be thankful for the rain, I guess.
Yeah, the decorations are a little overdone, but the beds will be warm and dry. I'm glad I remembered this mansion was here. Presumably, we're the first people to set foot in here since Oliver was posthumously found guilty of trading in Huron slaves. I understand the Senate confiscated his lands and property immediately after the Mad King's war ended.
Well, someone must be living here. The place is spotless. By law, there shouldn't be anyone here. I wonder if someone is squatting. Is something wrong, Raphael?
I feel that we are being watched. I sense no malice, but there is definitely some sort of presence. Perhaps the master of the house?
I'll bet we'll find out soon.
Yes. Wolves. Hello? What can I do for you? Hey, that's an elixir. Yes, I like them too.
Sorry, I don't mean to leave you out of the conversation.
No, that's fine. I would have been confused either way. I didn't know you could speak the ancient language.
It's Atari's common language. I would never have known about the Tellius language if I hadn't met Raphael.
The Tellius language?
You don't know? The language we are using right now is called the Tellius language. You call it modern speech, I suppose.
Oh, I see.
Long ago, Bjork created the Old Tongue. The ancient speech is what we Legus call it. The language was too difficult for the Legus to master, so the language of Tellius was created in its place.
Interesting. I've never heard that before. Neither have I. The only people I'm aware of who know of the ancient speech are the Huron Legus. I think Nazar of Goldoa said he could read it. Among Bjork, only mages know how to use it, and that's only for spells.
Well, the Legus who live a long time, such as dragons and Hurons, have all the time in the world to learn it. Bjork probably left the ancient speech behind in favor of a newer and improved language, with the exception of spells.
That makes sense, I suppose. Mordecai once told me that speech lets you avoid fighting when it's not a good idea. He said that's why it's a good idea to know many languages.
Did he now? Volu, did you hear that? You can learn the language of Tellius with Mordecai.
I will try.
He understands what you're saying, for the most part. It's the speaking that's the hard part for him.
You don't need to feel obligated. I mean, it isn't like I can't understand, or I can understand ancient speech. Here, take. Oh, I understand, thanks. I think I understood that too. You were happy that I understood what you just said.
Good. As long as you have the desire to learn, words will soon follow.
I see. I'll try to learn a little ancient speech from now on, too. Volog, you be my teacher, and I'll be your teacher. I think Ike is too daft a man to possibly learn the ancient speech, if I'm being the kindest I possibly can. Alright, so nobody I can really do anything with concerning supports, so it is time to edit my convoy and load out. I will be right back. Alright, I am back, and time to leave the outfit.
The disciples of Order are here. They just appeared in the outer building.
Alright, let's get everyone mobilized. General, come quickly. Our friends are in trouble. Friends? Hey, isn't that?
It's Tormod. We haven't seen him since the Mad King's War.
Extinguish them.
Funny you should phrase it that way, you soon-to-be Cinder. What the? That should have worked better. Who are these guys? Tormod, your backup's here. Just hold on your position. Much appreciated. Don't worry. We're not going anywhere. Wait a second. Ike, what happened to you, musclehead?
It's definitely Sir Ike, but Bjork growth always amazes me. It's like looking at a different person.
Between him and Soth, I'm starting to feel a little inadequate. Well, that settles it. I've still got a lot of growing to do. So I've got to survive. I can't die like this.
All right, let's help these guys out. Get ready for battle.
Okay. So choose units. Of course, I'm going to be removing several of my units that aren't going to be helping any. And yes, I think this will be fine. I almost want to put you this way. Nyla. I think that should be fine. Alright, so let's save. I shall do just that. Begin this fight. And hilariously look at these very underpowered units for this point in this game. He comes back with an Arcfire, a Bolganone, and a Meteor. Now, what's strange and almost humorous about this is that he can't use the Bolganone because it's S rank. But, I mean, I'm not really complaining. I just think that's funny, to say the least. Man, he is doing such little damage. So, Tormod is a unit I am going to be using, but unfortunately, he is so bad. So abysmally bad. I don't understand why the developers decided that Tormod's crew would join in Part 4. This is the only Part 4 chapter before Endgame, by the way, because there's only 2 Part 4 chapters per party before the Endgame, that is. So it's insanity. It's actual insanity that they're back here now. Another interesting thing is that all of your mounted units are receiving a -2 movement because they're indoors, as well as not only do you have to worry about that, they can't move up the ledges, so you have to take that into account as well. I think I'll put you here for the time being. I would like her to open up some locks and stuff. She's unequipped because why put weapons on her? She can't do anything with those weapons. I think what I'm going to do is actually trade with Nyla. You can take that Floret. I'm going to have Mern that Floret. So that's going to partially seem like a bit of a waste because it still had 12 uses, but that can go by in an instant in any enemy phase. So I just decided I was going to Hermern it. She's going to have the capacity to use it and then, you know, call it a good old day. Do have to be very careful. Wow. You do have to be very careful with your newly acquired units. They are not good, to say the least. I think what I want to do... Who has my second... Oh, you know what? You have my other chest key. Just in case. I'm going to put you here and get ready for the fight.
Oliver, Duke of Tanis, have a care. Last time you faced these enemies, you were defeated, humiliated, and your Huron slave trade was exposed. By the good graces of your fellow senators, you were saved from death and hidden away here. Behind the backs of the Apostle and the Prime Minister, we have kept you safe. Do not fail us.
I understand, Senator Herzl.
Rest assured, the savages who dare set foot in my home the second time will be eradicated for the glory of Authorized. Ugly creatures deserve nothing but an uglier death. You will not regret the lovely mercy you have shown me.
So yes, Oliver did not die in Path of Radiance, which is a very funny thought. And he is incredibly so much more stronger in this game than he is in Path of Radiance. It's actually kind of absurd in a way how much strength he has obtained, but I'm not complaining because he's a boss in part 4. He's got to be pretty strong. I just didn't want to show off the boss quite yet because I wanted to save that surprise for when he first spoke, as it was a surprise for me, let me tell you. Oliver back in this game, are you kidding? So, yes, I know there's going to be a lot of folks who are very upset and sad about the fact that I basically allowed Leanne to perish. I fully am well aware of this fact, and I'm very sorry for that for anybody who loves Leanne and using her as a unit, but I'm going to be very honest. None of the Hurons besides Rayson are worth using in my opinion. Concerning how good his Canto is, yes, a lot of people will argue that Raphael's 4 vigor at all times is better. And I'll grant that it is better than Rayson's. There's just something about his ability to Canto that just makes him better for my use. My use. Pay attention. I'm not saying everybody's use. I'm saying my use. This chapter is basically one of 2 in this part that is basic, might as well be called Reinforcements the chapter. These enemies here, Physic Unlock, Physic, and a Sleep. And then you have Oliver the boss. He's a saint. This is Tier 3. Enlightened clergy granted power over mighty light magic and staves. They employ the skill Corona. He has Nosferatu like he did before, and Silence as well. Pretty good stats except for speed, really. That speed is kind of abysmal for this point in this game. And Corona can nullify an opponent's resistance and have their hit rate for 1 turn. High-level priests. So, yeah, he's a pretty decent enemy. Not exactly something I would call, world-beating or anything of the sort. But, he can be not exactly hard to defeat because of his speed being so low, but he can be kind of the interesting boss. What is up with this guy? I have used Danved before, and he's never been this bad. I halfway want to say that, once he caps out maybe, defense, I'm going to do nothing but bonus experience points on him. And that's going to run pretty dry pretty soon. Bonus experience points doesn't go forever. Doesn't last forever either. And then Tempest Blade. No, I need my Floret back. Physic. I don't think anybody truly needs that healing. Titania and Mist are going to deal with the right side over here and continue moving up forward alongside Nyla and Raphael. If there comes a time where I need to rescue Raphael, I will do so with Nyla, because she is not as important of a combative unit in my humble opinion. She cannot shove. One of the big reasons why she's not that important of a unit concerning combat is the fact that the woman has no 1-2 range. And I know I've complained about this a lot for several units, But there is a very significant issue with having a unit like Nyla, who you would think is great until you start using her, and she's got literally nothing to offer to the table for any of your units besides, well, that she's a strong one-range unit. Wow. Amazing. Legu's, I wish that more of them had ranged attacks that they could not only counter with, but attack with. Because this is the problem. They don't have ranged attacks. They don't have a way to counter. And who is Ike going to KO here? Pretty well no one. Would be nice to give Tormod that KO. I wonder if I can with Meteor. I could if it hits. Nice. Yeah, these guys are one range, so they're just going to attack Ike. And yeah, I think that's perfectly fine. End my turn. Very nice. You decided to attack Titania with a ranged thunder, and not realizing that good old Titania always has a ranged weapon on her at some point. Ooh, 15 damage. It's pretty hefty. These two would have been great supporting partners, but I do like supporting Mist and Ike because I just think they work pretty well given what they have as attributes, affinities, as well as the fact that Mist needs it pretty wildly. And in the beginning of this game, what's important with Mist is that she has somebody she can keep up with, especially on the chapters, for instance, like General's Hand, where at that point in time, it's much more beneficial to have an unpromoted Mist. And if she's promoted and, you know, supported with Titania, of course, you're not going to, you know, not get good use out of Titania. You're still going to. And Mist. But the thing is that having Mist come along with you all the way to the top is just a good idea. You can see the struggles of being a mounted unit in this game, particularly in chapters like this. Okay. No reinforcements quite yet, but believe you me, they are coming. I don't think I'm going to be able to KO you with Tormod, which is so sad. Yeah. I didn't think so, and I was right. He's not KOing any of these guys. So yes, of course, I'm going to use Tormod, which does mean that I'm going to have to give him as much experience points as possible in this chapter, due to the fact that, like I said, bonus experience points is very limited. You don't have an infinite number of them. This was a waste of a chant, by the way. Anybody who got half a mind would have done a better chant than that. Oh, man. It's one of those instances, too, like Peleus. Peleus comes back unable to really do anything because he joins unable to really do anything because he joins mid-chapter. So you can't give him bonus experience points. You can't give him really anything. All right. Perfect. Shove you. And you again. Going to break the door, of course. Take the chest, why not? You got the blizzard. I don't really need the door key right now. You can hold on to that. Oh, I gave him a door key on accident. Brave Lance. And let's see. Did I take... I think Vika can actually open chests. That would be cool. Ooh. Heather took a... I thought she would dodge him. Wow. Man, that's incredibly bad. Oh well, just like Leanne, I'm not resetting at this point in this game. I have too much time spent in it. It is time to move on, isn't it? Okay. So, Ike is getting some experience points here, especially with Blossom on. You would think it would take him longer to level up. Blossom is so good on Ike, because if you're going to use him like I do, which is important to note, as, you know, frontline combat at all times, it is probably for the best to give him something like that, because having better stat gains is just such a good thing. And to check, yes. Statue fragment. So very obviously, oh, you know what? That was, I have a chest key on her. I wonder if she can without the chest key. That would be nice to know. This is pretty well the last chapter that I would be able to test that in, and I doubt I'm going to be able to test it. So with that being said, though, it is time for me to end this episode. I want to thank you for joining me. If you like my content, please upvote and follow, or like and subscribe, depending on your platform, and while you're at it, have a great and glorious day gaming.